sitting here out there thinking today is probably, other than postseason play, the second most exciting day of a young man's career, because they've worked hard. They're one day away from lining up and playing opening day at Florida State. The excitement, you can literally feel it in the air. And tomorrow will be more than it is today. And I got a text today from Mike Bell, who left here, who played here, who was a coach here for 6 years. And his words were, some guy told me a long time ago, there's only one opening day. And of course he was talking about the young guy doing the talking now, but there is only one day that's opening day. There is no other day like it. I'm excited. Thank God I'm still excited. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this ball club matures as we go through a very tough schedule.
Is this young team ready for a while?
There's still some questions to be answered. There's still a lot of what we call piddling around with the lineup. I think you obviously know that there's a few that there won't even be any thought of so-called piddling. But when you have freshmen, you don't know how they're going to react to failure. And it's crucial that they understand they're going to go through spurts that they're just miserable. They're going home at night not pulling their hair out, but second guessing everything they've been trying to do and worrying about the next day instead of understanding this is baseball. You're gonna fail. Live with it. How tough are you mentally? Let's see what you can do the next day.
4 games this weekend, you mentioned it, still some questions to be answered. Is it nice to kind of have that extra game to be able to try some different things with that lineup?
Yeah, especially in the pitching area. It gives us a chance to use a lot of arms, even though we're playing the day Tuesday when we get through playing Sunday. But it's very important that we get guys innings to see how they're reacting. We have some sophomores that have been pitching very well. It won't be new to them, but it's an evaluation time for them, and they know it.
Coach, what are we going to see from Maine?
Maine's going to be very competitive. They're a very aggressive team on the bases. They have an MO, and their MO is one that is, if you look back in history, they were in the College World Series a number of times back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. They've got very good tradition. We're definitely ahead of them when it comes to being prepared because of the weather. But we know what they're capable of doing. We know that nothing would make them happier than to come down here and win the series. We just got to go out there and do what we know how to do and not concern ourselves with them, but concern ourselves with us.
What kind of growth and evolution have you seen from Drew over the summer and since the end of last season? Drew Parrish, sorry.
I got too many Drews.
Drew
don't
Parrish,
I?
sorry.
We call him Pear. The guys call him Pear, and I call him Drew a lot. But DP is a guy that, after coming back from the USA team, he just seemed to be knowledgeable to the fact that, hey, I'm not bad. I'm not maybe what I thought I was when I came back and I saw what others in the United States are capable of doing. But with a lot of hard work, I can get better. And he's done that. He had some period where we kept him away to get stronger, a couple of procedures, so to speak. And he is a guy that is a very good leader we could not have chosen a better captain. He and I call him Mendo, has done an outstanding job in indoctrinating the young guys to the expectations, whether it's in the classroom or whether it's out here on the field.
In the fall, you were pleased with how J.C. Flowers was pitching. What role do you expect him to have this year? Is it more of a pitching role, or is he still going to play the outfield?
He's going to play the outfield, and mainly we're going to just use him when he's needed on the mound. And except for the first part of the season, we're going to use him whether he's needed or not. We want him ready for postseason play. We look for J.C. Flowers to be our closer, and that would be a 6-out closer.
Red Barber always said, watch the game from the catbird seat. And now they're building you a catbird seat over there. Is that a strategy, or is that for age, or what?
Well, with the way a lot of things have happened on this baseball field, I got to be sure that bad boy is really solid down there. that thing's not tilted when I sit down in it. No, it gives me a better view. I've sat in that one spot for so many years, and the players are asked not to be past a certain pole on the top step, and it's not right for them. They want to see the game also, and we've got them bunched up so that the coaches can see. Now the coaches are going to be up on the steps, and we're able to have a better view of what's going on.
Coach, having done this for over 40 years, you played it by the numbers, you played it by the gut. I mean, do you tell yourself that you want to approach this season in any sort of different way than you had the last, 4 decades?
Another very good question. I can't coach but one way, and that's by feeling. Whether it's the pitcher, whether it's the hitter, if I'm thinking about making a move as a coach to get a guy at the plate, and I say whatever, I'll make up a name, Johnson, and he kind of looks down like, yeah, like, what do you want? Just want to make sure you were there. In other words, I don't want him. He didn't show me he wanted that part of the ball game. I'll never forget going to the mound in the series in 12. Mike Bell had already pulled out the papers and was shuffling around because he knew I was going to the bullpen to get, I believe, Gage. But I got out there to the mound. It wasn't the perfect time for Gage, and Seitz was out there. Seitz is not a strikeout pitcher, but he's looking at me like this. Not like, it's okay, come get me, but not one of those looks like, I can stay in here, I can get this done. He was just, I'm okay if you want to leave me out here. And I said something to the effect of, you know where you are in the lineup. Here we go. And I walked by, and you could have heard a pin drop on the grass. Bill said, I didn't see that coming, and he was shuffling again. Because I saw a guy that wasn't intimidated. He was anxious to see if he could get out of it. Unbelievably, he did. It was against UCLA, and we were fortunate enough to pull it out. You have to be yourself. The best advice I got, well, I got a lot of advice early, but be yourself, accept yourself. I think know yourself comes first. Know yourself, be yourself, accept yourself. You can't try to be somebody else. You got to be who you are.
Thanks.